You can't compare 90s hip-hop stars to today's rappers. This schism between hip-hop's millennial and Gen X begs the question, can one even compare 90s rappers to today's rap stars? It has been a messy and fierce debate that usually ends with no result other than a ton of mean tweets leaving hurt feelings. The answer is emphatically no, if we really accept the hard truths about the discussion. Let's stop the tired debate and be thankful the music is still here and that there are still eager rap stars willing to continue to push on through to the future. Late last year, hip-hop music experienced yet another generational tug-of-war when then 19-year-old rapper Lil Yachty publicly stated he didn't know 5 songs by neither Tupac or the Notorious B.I.G. The claim was enough to ruffle feathers of purists and older heads alike. Only Yachty's word didn't just express his ignorance of music history, but went on to show his disregard for the aesthetic and groundbreaking work of the 1990s two most influential rappers. On separate occasions, the young rhymer called B.I.G. overrated and stated, along with his buddies, that Drake was a better rapper than Tupac. Why? Because Drake can sing. A debatable point to say the least. Needless to say, such statements constitutes as blasphemy among elders of the genre, who quickly blasted the mumble rap maverick. Brand Nubian's Lord Yamar, after comparing Yachty's ultra-simplistic tune One Night to the ABC song, said that the problem is that the Shoot Out the Roof rapper's millennial audience is stupid. The intelligence, or lack thereof, of Yachty's listeners can't be proven, but one thing is certain: many of them may believe such notions as Drake being better than Tupac, and many from the opposite end of the generational spectrum will vehemently disagree. But this schism between hip-hop's millennial and Gen X begs the question, can one even compare 90s rappers to today's rap stars? The answer is emphatically no. First off, the two can't be compared because different aesthetics have pushed the respective eras. In the 90s, hip-hop music, for the most part, was driven and inspired by the grittiness of West Coast and East Coast rappers, while today's hip-hop music is driven by the commercial viability, rhythms and accessible rhyme styles of the South. The regional rise of the left coast, better yet, the dominance of the region stars, had an influence on most artists of the era. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg were the pace setters for everyone running the rap race in the 90s. The same can be said for the trendsetters of today. In other words, hip-hop's current and most identifiable sound is shaped by rappers who hail from the South. As a result, a rapper like Drake has to make an 808 heavy song like Jumpman to connect with the audience of the genre's majority party. Similarly, you could hear the West Coast influence in B.I.G.'s music on songs like Things Done Changed, and Going Back to Cali. He incorporated those elements to simply expand his style and his audience. Thus, it is unfair to both eras to try and debate who is better without understanding how regionalism impacts what we hear sonically. There is certainly a degree of the thinking that you have to live it to understand it. Another reason we can't debate the two, quite frankly, is the internet. Rappers of the 90s, like music artists of decades before, had a number of roads to take before they could reach a wide audience. There were literally levels to this. You had to impress an audience locally in the flesh, doing shows that would spread word of mouth. You'd have to independently press up records/CDs and promote them via college radio. Some had to participate in talent shows, rap battle or freestyling in cyphers to earn their stripes. Trying to get in the Source magazine's unsigned hype column was another option. Once you even signed to a label, there had to be a careful plan to promote the artist and product, and each avenue guarded heavily by a gatekeeper whose main job was to keep an eye out for quality in lyrics and style. So by the time a rapper, regardless of what region, made it to the masses, they'd proven their merit as a rapper in some way. Unlike today's rhyme stars who, because of the web, can bypass all those steps by just making their music and putting it up on social media or YouTube for people to consume. And finally, the two can't be compared because of the pioneer rule. Simply put, without the work put in by the 90s rappers, you would not have the success of today's rappers. Without Rakim and Big Daddy Kane in the 80s, you'd have no Notorious B.I.G. or Jay-Z in the 90s. And without the thuggish sensitivity of a Tupac in the 90s, you wouldn't have the deeply introspective verses of Drake in the 2010s, singing and all. In fact, Why else do today's rappers enjoy such an international audience? Freedom to rock whatever style they choose and a serious DIY spirit that makes rhymers like Chance the Rapper so phenomenal. In the end, comparisons can't be done. All that either side can do is be thankful the music is still here and that there are still eager rap stars willing to continue to push on through to the future.